Hi.
Hi Tanya, how are you today?
I'm fine, and how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Sun's shining, so always makes
That's
me feel
it. That's all
good.
we need. Bit
Yeah,
sunshine.
yeah.
So, I think obviously what would be quite nice for me to know a little bit more about, and I'm sure our audience know a little bit more about, is how did you get into doing what you do?
Hey, so are we're specifically talking about the healing the mother line stuff?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. Because if you ask me how I my video is playing up.
That's
My
okay.
video is playing up a bit, so I'm kind of like a bit in and out, but that's fine. That's fine. Um, so yeah, there's so much, but let me just kind of hone this into why I'm doing the healing the mother line
Mm,
stuff, because I think that's really, really important.
okay.
So a year ago, so August 2022, I was drawn, called, whatever you want to name it, to going on a retreat with a money mindset coach that I follow. And it just all kind of fell into place. You know, sometimes when those things just all fall and you're
Mm,
like, yes, I need to do this. So I went there. It was in Australia of all places. And when I was there, the first night I arrived there, the lady who was running it, she's was her house is like almost like a sort of base. It's based around grandmas, and it's
mhm,
very much. We started talking about grandmas on the first night, and something happened for me there. I don't quite know what it was, but I became really emotional, and I've always had this thought and in question about my grandma because I'm a recovering alcoholic addict, and I know my mother never really spoke about it much, but my grandmother was alcoholic.
okay.
Oh, she used to go down the pub in the 1920s and drink Guinness, and I know she had a reputation for being a little bit crazy, but that obviously we don't call people that today. But my mother wasn't very kind of welcoming about her mother.
Mm,
So I was always curious because in my family, most people don't have addiction issues. But I know this kind of history with my grandmother. So I felt really kind of a connection with her there. And we did a little meditation, and I actually just felt this overwhelming sense of grief. And
mm,
I didn't really know what was going on. Anyway, I went back to my caravan. I was staying in a caravan that night and I just sobbed. It felt like I was releasing something. Um, anyway, so I came back the next day and gave the facilitator a big hug, and then we went on further to have a sound bath with a Aboriginal healer,
mm,
and oh, it was just amazing. But again, my grandmother kind of in this sound healing, and I'm like one of the least kind, well, not the least, but I'm always a skeptic. I'm a real skeptic. But I can honestly say that I really felt like the presence of my grandma there.
mm,
And I later on kind of then came back to England. That was from that heat, and I came back to England, and there's a lady that I know who is a shamanic healer. And so I got in contact with her and said, this has happened to me. And we'd done some family work before around my male line. And
mm.
she said, well, let's do this. Let's do the family lineage healing. And so we did it. And all the story kind of come out. I did the research myself around the genealogy, but
Mhm.
all the story came out about what had happened with my grandma. My mother was born out of wedlock. My grandma was a result of an affair between my grandfather and his wife was still living in the house. There was just so much there
Mm.
and so much pain.
Mm.
And I kind of identified that this pain that I felt and was releasing was perhaps my grandmother's pain. And that was kind of confirmed in the show. And again, the skeptic head comes in. It's like, well, this is all a bit too much. However, the link to the work that I do today, um, I have found time and time again that the women that I work with on my anxiety and depression recovery retreats, and some of the men,
Mm.
have difficulties with their mothers. My mother's passed away now, but you know, so she certainly had a lot of kind of mental health issues and difficulties, and our relationship was difficult at times.
Mm,
And a lot of the women that I work with have that same issue, and not the same, but similar, or you know, they're identified as having a narcissistic mother, or a mother who's in active addiction, a mother who's alcoholic, a mother who's mentally unwell, or they become carers for their mothers. So many of the women that I work with. I thought there's something here, you know, with people that I work with. And so, you know, I kind of then felt like, well, I'm called to do this work. I've done this work on myself. I can help other people. And a lot of the work that I do is around boundaries, inner child, you know,
mm,
that lost child
yeah.
aspect, you know, where we're caring for others, you know, being that endless kind of people pleaser, carer for others, and how that can link into our relationship with our mothers, because the mother bond is really, really strong.
Mm,
So that's how I've got to where I am today with what I do. Um, so yeah, I mean that's the long and short of it, really. I don't know if you want to ask me any questions. You've got
really
a couple of
powerful
minutes.
stuff. I mean, it's lovely to hear that you obviously witnessed it firsthand. And it's nice to know that obviously from the skeptic, there's come that, oh, actually, okay. But yeah, a very, very powerful work to do. I think it's so important to actually look back at how, you know, our lineage has a big impact on the way we show up in the world.
Yeah,
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely.
Well, great. Thank you for asking me that question.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm really looking forward to working with you and doing more of this, and really helping so
Mm,
many people heal this mother line that, you know, is.
definitely, definitely. I think the weekend.
I'm still here.
That's all right. I was going to say. I think the weekend is going to show some really powerful shifts.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, thank
Okay.
you. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye.
Bye. Lots of love.